Yeehaw! It's roundup time again, folks. And this time we're looking at USB audio interfaces which feature 8 microphone preamps. The kind of interface that will allow you to record your band, including drums, on a super low budget. And incidentally, if you look in the description under this video on YouTube, you'll see a link there to our tutorial showing you how to record your band super cheap in a rehearsal studio using an audio interface exactly like the ones that we're going to be showing you in this roundup. Now additionally, all of the interfaces we're going to show you in this roundup feature MIDI in out as well as 8 mic or line level inputs. So they're also suitable if you want to set up and run a hybrid computer and external MIDI hardware setup. Now to be included in this roundup, the interfaces must meet the following criteria. They must be a simple tabletop rack mount type design, nothing fancy, so we're not going to include things like mixer interface hybrids or anything like that. They must obviously feature 8 mic preamps, but they also must feature line instrument level inputs, which will allow you to plug guitars and basses directly into the interface and record through your amp modelling software into your DAW. They must have a dedicated speaker volume control and separate volume control for headphones. And they must be under €500, because obviously you can get interfaces with 8 mic preamps costing more than €500, but what we're looking for here is budget solutions suitable for the home recordist. Okay. Now, as usual, I'm taking the choices and prices from Tom Mann's online web store, not just because they sponsor us, but because Tom Mann are a huge shop selling all over the world, and they're a very good indicator for a super low street price. Okay, so here's your choices in ascending price order, starting from cheapest to the most expensive. Okay, first up is the Behringer Euphoria UMC 1820. It has got 2 mic line inputs on the front. Round at the back there's an additional 6 mic line inputs, giving you 8 in total. You can switch any of those 8 inputs between line and instrument level. Okay, then you've got your main balanced 1/4 inch outs here, which feed your studio monitors, labelled output 1, 2, and a further 8 balanced 1/4 inch outs here. You've got SP diff in and out. You can add a further 8 in and 8 out channels via ADAT here, and you have MIDI in out as well. Background on the front again, you've got your main output volume control to feed your monitors here, and you have 2 headphone sockets, each with their own independent volume controls. Okay, and that is the Behringer UMC 1820 at €199. Next up, we've got the Tascam US16 XO8 or 16 XO8. Now with all the other interfaces in this roundup, you get 8 physical inputs, which can be either mic or line instrument level. But with this Tascam, you get 16 independent physical inputs. Here's your first 8 mic pre-inputs, labelled input 1 to 8. And then you have a further 8 balanced 1/4 inch inputs. The first 2 are on the front here, labelled input 9 and 10. And these can both be switched between line or instrument level using the 2 switches here. Then round on the back you get your further 6 balanced 1/4 inch line inputs, and these can all be switched as pairs between -10 and +4. Down here we've got our 8 balanced 1/4 inch outputs. The first 2, output 1, 2, will feed your studio monitors, and finally we get MIDI in out. There's no SP diff in out on this, and there's no ADAT in out on this. Finally, back round the front, we've got a dedicated volume control here for the monitors being fed from output 1, 2, and you've got only the single headphone socket, but it does have its own volume control. And that is the Tascam US16 XO8 at €269. Okay, next up, the Focusrite Scarlett 8920, 2nd gen. And with this one, you get on the front 2 mic or line instrument level inputs. These can be switched between instrument and line level with the button here and here, labelled instrument, inst, right? Round at the back, we've got the further 6 mic or line level inputs, but these can't be switched to instrument level. Then over here we've got 10 1/4" balanced line outputs. The first pair here, labelled 1, 2, will feed your studio monitors. And then here we've got optical ADAT in out, we've got word clock out, MIDI in out, and SPDIF in out as well. Back round at the front we have a dedicated volume control for your monitors and 2 headphone sockets, each with their own dedicated volume control. And that is the Focusrite Scarlett 18i 22nd Gen at €399. Okay, next up, the PreSonus Studio 1824C. And this one, it's like the old PreSonus Studio 1824, pretty much, but it just uses a USB-C connector. However, there is a pair of cables included, which I can show you. So in the box you get a USB-C to USB-C connector cable, but you also get a USB-C to USB-A type connector cable as well included, and the unit is fully backward compatible with USB 2 and USB 3. Okay, what do we get with this? Well, on the front we get a pair of mic or line instrument level inputs. Again, like with the non-C version, you switch these to line or instrument level using the switch here on the front panel there. Round at the back we've got the further 6 mic or line level inputs, but these can't be switched to instrument level. Then you've got your 8 dedicated line outputs here. You've got the main output left right that feeds your monitors here. This will be a mirror of output 1, 2. You've got SPDIF in and out. You've got ADAT in out to add an additional 8 in and out channels via ADAT. Word clock out, again not very useful for most people, but there it is. And MIDI in out. Back round the front we have a dedicated volume control for the main outputs for the monitors and 2 headphone sockets, each with their own dedicated volume control. And that is the PreSonus Studio 1824C at €479. And finally, last but not least, we have the Tascam US20 XO8. And with this one you get, on the front panel, 8 mic or line level inputs. The first 2 will receive instrument level as well, although there's no switching for that. Round at the back we've got 10 line outputs which are balanced. The first pair will feed your studio monitors, but we also have an additional pair of balanced line inputs here which are switchable between -10 and +4. We've got word clock in out here, which won't be useful to most people. MIDI in out. We've got optical ADAT in out here, and we've got SPDIF coax in out here. Okay, back round on the front again. We've got a dedicated volume control to feed the studio monitors, which will be fed from line output 1, 2, and 2 headphone sockets, each with their own dedicated volume control. And that is the Tascam US20 XO8 at €494. Okay, well, the budget winner in this roundup is obviously going to be the Behringer UMC 1820 at the ridiculously low price of €199. I'm normally a bit reluctant to recommend Behringer products due to past reliability issues the company's had, but at €199 it is super cheap, and every product in this roundup that I've shown you, if purchased from Tomman, comes with a full 3-year warranty. So with a 3-year warranty and this super low price, it could well be worth taking a punt on this product. 8 mic line preamps, all of them switchable to instrument level. 2 headphone outputs, dedicated volume control for the monitors. You can expand it with ADAT, MIDI in out, etc. Yeah, it could be well worth taking a punt on this one. So that's the budget winner, the Behringer UMC 1820. But my overall winner for this roundup, the product which I would recommend, is the Tascam US16 XO8, which for the measly €269 that it costs, frankly offers quite staggering bang for buck. You see, the thing about this Tascam is 8 mic inputs and a further 8 line inputs, all at the same time can be recorded into your DAW. So if you think about that, you've already got 8 mic pre's on the front, which is enough to get a good drum kit mic setup going. But if you need to add further mics, you just buy a couple of standalone mic preamps and connect those up to the further line inputs that are available to add more mics if you need it. Yeah? And further to that, the line inputs which work in addition to the mic inputs, you can use those line inputs for feeding in things like DI from a bass, or direct outs from amp heads, etc., or synths or keyboard inputs. This thing has the ability to record a band in a garage or basement type home setup with 16 inputs all at the same time. It really does offer great bang for buck. Now, yeah, it ain't fancy. It hasn't got some flashy coloured LED input level indicator panel and all the rest of it. But I would urge you to check the reviews of this thing out online from people that own it, because the general consensus of opinion is that, yeah, it isn't flashy, but it's built like a tank. The mic pre's are very, very good quality. It's won awards, and the general consensus of opinion on this thing is that it is a very, very good unit with a really, really good sound. And there's one other thing about it: it is fully compliant for use with iPads. All you got to do is get the Apple Lightning to USB connector kit, which is this little adapter cable thing, and then you can use it with an iPad and GarageBand, which is free, to get 8 tracks of mic recording anywhere on location. So yeah, that's my winner, the Tascam US16 XO8. Okay, so let's finish with a bit of summing up, starting with the sound quality of these units in the roundup. The preamps, particularly what I'm talking about here, but also the converters that are used make a difference to the sound quality, etc., etc. Now, yes, of course, each of the manufacturers is going to be, referring to their preamps in the most glowing terms in their promotional literature. Focusrite are going to be going on about how great their Scarlett preamps are, and Personas are going to be talking about how fantastic their X-Max preamps are, and Tascam are going to go on about how fantastic their Ultra HDDA preamps are, and the cheap Behringer, Behringer are going to be going on about it's got Midas designed preamps, etc. But the truth is, given the price point of these units, and more importantly, given the type of microphones that people are going to typically use with the units in this roundup, you're really not going to notice any difference in sound quality between the preamps and the converters in these units, okay? They all have pretty much the same dynamic range, they all pretty much have the same signal to noise ratio, etc. So, look, let's just say it like this. Maybe if you've got a really, really high quality mic and you recorded a vocal in isolation in a really high quality acoustic space, and then you did a blind listening test, you might notice some subtle differences between each of the preamps in these units, right? You might. But as I said, given the type of mics we're going to be using these, and given the price point, you're really not going to tell any difference between them. So don't think that choosing one over the other is going to give you some fantastic sound quality advantage. That simply won't happen. Okay, next, included software. When I did the roundup last April of basic 2 input and 2 output USB interfaces, I did list the included software that you get with each unit. And that's because with those kind of basic small interfaces, quite often the sort of person looking to buy one is going to be a first-time recordist, and they won't have a setup, so the included software might be quite relevant. But I think it's fair to say with these 8 mic input type interfaces, most people who are going to be buying these, they've already got some recording experience, so they'll have their DAW software sorted out already. Okay, all of these units will come with a DAW type music software, for doing your recording and everything like that, and some of them also include free plugins, but you can check all that out yourself. All right. Okay, and finally, just to add, because this may be of interest to people, if you're looking to expand your audio interface with more mic inputs via ADAT, then this is actually the unit that I'd recommend. Cheap and cheerful. This is the Behringer A8200, and it costs a staggeringly low €169. Now, this unit has been around for donkey's years, about 20 years this product has existed. This is the second generation of the product, and basically it's an ADAT expander. So on the front you get 8 mic or line inputs, each with their own gain control. There's a phantom power switch here to activate phantom power for all 8 mic inputs. And then round at the back you've got 8 balanced or unbalanced XLR line outs. And that's it. There's no USB to connect it to your computer or anything like that, because this is an ADAT expander. You connect it via ADAT connectors to your already existing audio interface, and it simply adds an additional 8 mic or line inputs and an additional 8 line outputs. Okay. Now, there's only one thing about this unit. It only works at 44.1 or 48K. It doesn't work at 88.2 or 96K. But that's okay, because at the kind of price point we're working to, we're all recording at 44.1 or 48K anyway. Hardly anybody records at 88.2 or 96 when you're doing multi-track. So, yeah, okay, it's Behringer, and they have had this reputation in the past. Once you've owned one of their units for a while, the sockets or the pots can start to crackle, but Behringer are now offering a 3-year warranty on this and other products. Obviously, you've got to register the product, I'm assuming, once you've bought it with them. But if you buy it from Tom Man, just like all the units we've looked at in the roundup, this comes with a full 3-year warranty. €169 to add 8 additional mic inputs. And then you've got 16 mic inputs. And you can really start to go to town with multi-track recording if you're looking for a bit of a bigger setup. Okay, so there you go. That's your roundup for 8 mic input USB audio interfaces at the end of March 2020, under €500. And I hope that's useful, and I'll see you for the next one.